Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to attempt to make a sandblasting box with a few 3D printed parts, gloves, an actual gravity fed sandblaster, and a few other parts like a clear sheet of glass, some hose, some connectors and some screws, and a container, clear container. Unfortunately, I couldn't find one that had a clear top. These container, I had this container. It was an old one that was sitting in my storage room, and I wasn't gonna go spend another $20–30 on a different container. So I'm gonna make this work. And if it doesn't work, I'm not gonna feel sorry about it, because then I'll just go buy another one, because I want to keep this as budget friendly as possible. First thing, I realized that these gloves are not cheap. These gloves are actually about $35–40 a pair to buy. So that actually cost half the freaking half the cost. It ate up half of the cost of this thing. Now Harbor Freight does have countertop sandblasting box or blaster units, and I think those run about $120 or $130, or about $99. I've seen them range between $100 to $130, but they are a countertop unit, but they are very bulky and they are not easily moved, or they're not portable. I wanted something to be portable that I could actually move around when I'm done with it, put it away, so it wouldn't be in front of my feet. I don't want it to take up space, so I could just put it somewhere. But I am not probably not going to be working or doing a lot of large material that I would need a large cabinet to use. If it gets to that point, I'll just take the lid off and I just do it without the lid. And I'll lose some sand here and there, so I'm not worried about that. But this is mainly for like small jobs. Also, for people that want to do etching on glass or acrylic sheets, this application will also work perfect for it, because this is this functions on a 90 psi setting, so it's not a very high pressure sandblasting. So this is not gonna be for like commercial use. This is very like DIY stuff, very light material, just to remove paint or rust or stuff like that. So that's why I'm gonna make it with this setting. I don't want a big one. I had one. I actually sold it because I honestly never got to use it. It was sitting in a corner. I had to dig it out every time, and the media that you put in there is so rough and heavy. It's about 40 pounds worth of media, and I did have it on casters, but it was just a pain to just move around. So I sold it because I wasn't gonna use it as what it was intended for. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop talking and let's get to start and build this together. I'm gonna do this as an experiment, so I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I want to figure it out as I go along. So you guys are here, you guys are gonna witness what I'm gonna be doing, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so the first thing I am going to do is I am going to glue this glove. Let me just kind of stretch this out a little bit. I am going to basically insert the little loop that's here into this spot of the plate. As you can see, it fits right in, but the problem is the more you stretch it later, it's gonna come right out. So one way I could keep you could either use Crazy Glue or Gorilla Glue or whatever glue that satisfies your needs, and instead what I'm going to use is I'm going to use some hot glue. So I'm basically going to put some hot glue in here and get the whole thing going, and then I'm going to use some clamps to basically keep it in place. So you just want to go a little bit at a time. You don't want to keep you don't want to go a long distance so the glue doesn't dry out quickly, so you can actually have enough time to push it into the groove. And you want to go all the way to like the halfway point. So at the halfway point you're going to put another clamp in, so this way it keeps the ring inside, because at this point there is not much pressure being built to stretch it out or anything. So we are just about the halfway point now. And this is probably going to be the fun part, where we're going to now go 3/4 of the way. And at 3/4 of the way, I'm going to put another clamp in. And I'm just going to wait a few minutes until the glue is set and dried before I start stretching this part out to finish it off. So give it like a minute or two. By then the glue should be fully set and dried off. And this way, you know, the rest of it's not going to rip out. So as soon as that's done, then we'll finish it off. Then we'll go and cut the holes in the container. Alright guys, so this is what it looks like. This part is going to be inside of the blaster, and this part is going to be basically it's going to create a seal between the two plates, like so. So it's going to be like this. So that's going to be good to go. So stay tuned. I'm going to cut this right now, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. So this is the area I'm gonna put the hole in. So the one's gonna be here, and the other one's gonna be on this side. So I'm gonna try to keep them as close as I can to one another. Basically, one here and one here, like so. So and good thing is I have the sticker as a reference. Usually these are about midway point, so you know I don't have to do any measurements or whatever. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one of the rings here. I'm gonna grab my marker and just draw a circle. Do the same thing here. Draw a circle. So that's my reference point now. Here, if you can see it, 1 and 2. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to drill a hole somewhere around here, and basically use my jigsaw to cut this circle out. So let's do that. All right, guys, the next thing I'm gonna do is I am going to put the glass part in. So we're gonna have to cut a piece out from here and then put the glass in. Hopefully it'll fit. Now this glass is a little bit oversized. I was thinking I may want to cut it a little bit shorter, but we're gonna see. Let's see how much, if I need to cut anything, if I should cut anything. So I don't really like cutting glass. I'm not really good at it, but if I have to cut it to size, I will cut it to size. But let's see what we're looking at. Alright. So the issue is I'm gonna have to run like some sort of sealant around the glass, and if I cut into this lid right here, we're gonna have a problem. So what I'm gonna do, I am going to have to cut this thing. It's not hard to cut it, I'm just not comfortable with it. You know what I mean? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut within this lid right here, within the perimeters of this lid. But first I'm gonna measure to see how much I need to cut the glass, and come back and do some other measurements. So stay tuned. Alright, so this fits here perfectly, just the way I like it, but we're not gonna cut exactly the dimensions. We're gonna cut a little bit small because we need a little bit room for the insulation. So we're gonna measure, we're gonna find the center, we're gonna measure the glass, we're gonna measure basically 1/2 inch on each side, so basically 1 inch shorter from all corners. So let's do that and get to cutting. Do not put a baby in a container. Look at that. So this will sit like this, right into here. And let me put this here like so. We will center this like so. And what I'm gonna do around the edges, I am going to put vinyl foam. So I'm going to put vinyl foam all across the glass around the edges. Then I'm gonna mount it with these little 3D printed mounts that will sit like this, and it will keep the glass in place, hopefully. That's the plan. So my calculations are right. If everything goes well, it should work. But we won't find out until we actually try it. So let's do that first, then we'll find out if this whole thing works. Alright, so now I'm going to install these little connectors. The glass holders, whatever you want to call them, these little 3D printed ones. So, and let me get the drill. Alright guys, so I put 4 in, but you know, honestly I think I'm gonna need probably about 4 more or 2 more, because as soon as I flip it over there's a gap here, and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that there's a gap there. It's gonna basically push all that dust or whatever it is out. I mean, this is one solution. Another solution is you could put caulking around here and just, like, you know, be like permanent, I guess. But I'm gonna print out some more of these little clips and basically maybe put 3 here and 3 more here. Maybe that will give me a better insulation. So I'll do that, put that together, then we're gonna go ahead and punch the hole for the airline, and that should be it. Oh, and also we will need an exhaust for this thing, because the air that you push in here is gonna create is gonna put a lot of pressure into the thing, and you don't want the top to pop out. So you want some sort of air escape, and you also want some sort of air coming in. So I'm debating whether if I should print one more of this or just use this as the air escapes. I don't know, we'll see. We'll do it with this only. I'll put like a little mesh over it, so it'll kind of collect the little fine particles, and it will still have some sort of airflow. If it gets too cloudy in there that I can't see, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to actually attach a vacuum to one of them and have another air coming in from another side. So we'll see. We'll try it out and see how it works. Alright guys, so I did print the extra clips for the glass. Now I see it is sitting very well tight to the lid. I used 10 clamps and it's actually holding on very well. The other thing I did was I did run out of some screws for the gloves. As you can see, now the gloves are in. Yep, I thought I had the wrong side. The vacuum port is in as well, so I put the vacuum port in, and what I used as a filter for this thing, let me see if I can find it. I used one of these like AC filters for like the window units, and it's like a it's a flexible filter. So I cut a piece and I put it in between this and where the other side of this clips in, so that kind of acts like a filter. So the next thing I'm gonna do is actually hook up a connector for the air hose that's gonna be going to the gun, and that's the last step pretty much. And what I'm gonna use is one of these swivel whip hose, which has a swivel head, and this other end is gonna basically connect to the air hose connector. And what I did was I punched a 1/2 inch hole right here, where this is basically going to snugly, to use a wrench for this, because this has a thicker plastic here, so it's actually, I like the way it's sitting. It fits very snug. Let me see if I can't even turn it with my hand, so this is a good thing. This is gonna fit tight in here, and I don't want to over tighten it. I'm just gonna go towards the end, and then I'm gonna connect that hose to it, and then we're gonna take this for a test run. Hopefully this is as good as I thought it was gonna be, right? So let me take this off. I'm going to add the hose. Actually, I might put some Teflon tape at the end of this. Let me see if I can find my Teflon tape. I didn't put the Teflon tape at the beginning because as I was going through the plastic, it was going to rip it up anyway. So it's a very tight fit here. So I'm going to try to Alright guys, so I'm gonna put the media in now. Let me open this thing up. Alright. And I'll put the rest in here. Close the lid. Now hope for the best. All right, what's next? What's next? Oh, so I need a piece to basically media blast. So as I was in New York, I found this. I don't know what this is. This is a cap of some sort of water line or something I found on the street, so I took it. Souvenir. Should go in the middle. And then we are going to put the top on. We are going to connect the air line. It's gonna get loud because the air compressor is gonna go on, so. All right, air line's in. All right, I gotta fix my camera inside. There we go. Not gonna have a camera in here all the time, but for this demonstration I wanted to put a camera in. Hopefully this will go as smooth as possible. Alright, so it is a little tight in here, but once you get used to it, you get used to it. So let's start blasting. Alright guys, so it sort of works. I need to play with the adjustments, air adjustments a little bit, but as you can see, it does take the rust off. Slowly, but it does the job. And as you can see on the bottom, it did take the rust off. Some of the stuff is a little bit harder for this thing. And again, I'm using very, very fine I'm blanking out. Fine sand. So fine sand is not gonna take out the very hard rust on this. So the media I need to use a little bit thicker media to be able to take the rusts off. But for a very, very fine media, it's not doing a bad job, to be honest with you. This is not bad at all. But you know, eventually if I start using a little bit heavier media, it actually might do a better job on this. I think this will be good if you try to etch something, or like take some stain off of something. You know what? I'm gonna try a piece of wood. Let me see what a piece of wood is gonna look like. And it's a little hard to get this thing off, the gloves off, once your hands are like sweaty or whatever. And let's see. Alright. And this thing has a little trigger right here that you gotta open up to let the media out. So that's kind of cool. Let me turn the air compressor on again. We'll be right back. So it took off a little bit, but man, it is scratched. This thing is scratched. I don't know if you can see it, but it is scratched. So and at the same time, I am using a very, 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 very small compressor. So you definitely need a good size compressor that can actually hold a good amount of air, and about 125 psi, but you need at least about, I don't know, probably like 13 gallon compressor at the minimum if you're doing small jobs, because that air pressure is very important for that media blast. So yeah. All right guys, so this is it. This is the compact media blaster. As far as the setup goes, the setup works fine. I actually don't feel any particles anywhere around this at all. There's no sand or anything flying out from here. But again, this is a very cheap plastic, so I'll maybe down the line when I start doing more blasting and all that stuff, I might change it, you know, get a little bit more sturdy one. As far as the sandblaster gun itself, there's a lot of different ones out there. I got this one because it was honestly, it was on clearance for like 10 bucks. So for like $10, I'm not really worried about it. But you know, eventually I might try to figure out a system so I could use as a attach a different hose that will be like a vacuum, so it'll kind of suck up whatever sand is in the box and basically recycle the whole thing. Other than that, you know, it works. You know, for like a small job, for small jobs, it'll definitely work. Overall expense, the most expensive part was the gloves for 40 bucks. So this whole thing cost me probably about $65 to $70 if you want to consider the fact that, you know, you have to buy one of these containers. But let me know what you think, guys. I mean, it worked fine. You know, if you're doing very small stuff, and if you want to get into etching, I think this might be a good idea for etching. You just have to find the right blasting gun for the use that's not too bulky. The thing what I have now is very, very bulky because of the sand container on top, or media container on top. Other than that, it works fine. I mean, I will put a link to my Etsy account for the parts, the 3D parts. If you want me to print them, You can buy them from there. And pretty much that's it. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Peace out.